Rev up your engines!
Here we go. BMW has now been completely yuppified. 3 Series BMWs now is only sold with an automatic. No more standard transmissions. When I was a young mechanic in the 60s, BMWs were known as a niche car, cute little 4-cylinder sports cars, standard transmissions, fun to drive. Guys would use them as rally cars. But now they're making it so in the 3 Series, you can't even buy a standard transmission for it. They're only available in the United States in an automatic, and in Europe, only the diesels are going to be available with a manual transmission. So I guess BMW has given up with their idea of the ultimate driving machine and have left it to people who want to drive around in automatic transmissions. It was only a matter of time, you know. I mean, you can see the handwriting on the wall on that one. Shawara. I'm planning on buying a used 2013 Toyota Corolla LE, 81,000 miles, but the AC doesn't work. My advice: never buy a car that doesn't have working AC if you want AC. Air conditioning work can get very expensive, and you really never know if it's fixed right until you fix it, and then it's driven around a while, unless you replace absolutely everything. One of the big reasons that a lot of people, let's say they take a car to the dealer that's like 8, 9 years old, the dealer's going to try to sell them a compressor, a condenser, an evaporator, expansion valve, a dryer, just about every part on the car, because they're covering their own hiney. If they replace everything, yes, it's going to last for a really long time, but most people don't want to spend that kind of money. And if you're buying a used car, there's plenty of them out there that have air conditioners that work. Don't buy one that doesn't have a working air conditioner unless you live someplace like Alaska and you don't even care about the air conditioning, then you just pay less for it. But if you need AC, don't buy a used car that doesn't work. They might say, oh, it just needs refrigerant. How do you know? And if you fill it up, maybe it's all going to leak out, and then you find out it's going to cost $1,200 to fix it. Don't buy a used car with no AC if you want AC. Big Rav, Scotty, what do you think of a 93 Acura Legend with 120,000 miles? Were they good Acuras? They were great cars back in the day. But what are we talking about here? We're talking about a 27-year-old car. That is old. Soon when you're talking about buying a used one, you don't pay much for a car that's got 120,000 miles on it and is 27 years old. It can be a fun toy, but realize those things have rubber timing belts. If the belt breaks, the pistons hit the valves, goodbye engine, then you junk it, because that would cost $4,000 to $6,000 to rebuild an engine on one of those things. If you want a knock-around toy and it's in good shape, buy it if it's cheap enough. But don't think you're going to buy a car like that and drive it every day and put 15,000, 20,000 miles a year on it, because then it'll start getting expensive to fix. Intake 485. Scotty, my radiator broke. Car got a little more hot than it should, and it doesn't seem to be running right. You probably started to blow the head gasket. I've got a video, how to tell if your head gasket's blown. Watch the video. It's a little block leak test kit. You can get it on Amazon on sale for about $30. They're very easy to use, and you can see if the head gasket's starting to blow. Now, if it isn't, you can pray that it isn't, and that sometimes when the radiators blow, they throw coolant everywhere. Well, coolant gets on electrical parts, especially hot coolant. It can start to short them out. I mean, it could be as simple as the spark plug wires got wet, the ignition coils got wet, even something like the throttle position sensor. If it got wet enough and it doesn't give the right data, it could cause problems. So pray that it didn't blow the head gasket, but check for the blown head gasket first, because if it's not that, then start checking the electronics. Well, Amina G says, my car developed a grinding noise that only occurs when I put it in drive. Let's pray it's something that's not that bad. If it only happens when you put it in drive, you want to pray it's like a CV joint or an axle starting to wear out, and when it hits it in drive, there's strain on it and it grinds. But from my experience, unfortunately, a lot of times that's internal transmission wear. And that is often super, super expensive, especially if you got an automatic transmission, you put it in drive, and you start hearing grinding noises. You want to pinpoint the noise, of course. I've got a video finding the source of car noises. Watch that. Shows you how you can find exactly where the noise is coming from. And if it is coming from inside the transmission, then you got to decide, do you want to fix it, spend a whole bunch of money, or just get rid of the car and get something else? A lot of times it's more cost effective to get rid of a car that has problems like that. But they're so 24. Scotty, what do you think of those old 84 to 89 Toyota vans? They looked weird. Yeah, they kind of look weird, but man, those things could run. My brother-in-law had one here in Houston. Then they moved to teach in London for some years. And they brought it with them, and they ended up selling it to some English guy under the table. Because you're not supposed to import cars into England and sell them, but they got a real cash economy in England, so people can bypass the VAT. So there's a real underground cash economy in London. Those things could run forever. They were interesting because the engine was in the middle, but the air conditioning alternator was in the front. They had a drive shaft from the transmission that went back to drive the car. It was a rear-wheel drive van, but they also had a drive shaft that went to the front that ran the power steering and the air conditioner. And as such, they were very expensive vehicles to build. And the main reason they stopped building them was because they cost too much money to build. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.